Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lim Kopi podcast. My name is Stalk Kok Hao. So this podcast is brought to you by Sequentia. So anyway, this is a show where I invite my guest and we just talk about how we met each other, our memories together, and also just to talk about life in general as we catch up about all this, and as well as we talk about our work experiences as well. If you haven't watched the very first episode of Lim Kopi podcast, I really do encourage you to just check it out. And other than that, we do have a very special guest with us. He's a very close friend of mine during the 3 years of study in motion graphics and broadcast design. Being as a talented illustrator, Joseph is not afraid of trying new mediums and always constantly seeking for fresh new inspirations. During his national service, he decided to pursue his passion for parzi, and since then, and after that, he has been practicing and studying parzi for a year. So, welcome to the show, Joseph.
Hi, Kok Hao. Thank you for inviting me on the show. It's so nice to be on this platform and to also catch up with you. So this is a very
Yes,
nice
yes.
thing. Yeah.
I haven't seen you since we last graduated. Okay, at least we saw each other like periodically a bit here and there. We had a few meetups here and there. I mean, other than that, I don't really see you often. Otherwise, in the online space. But I mean,
Yeah,
how have
correct.
you been? How have you been doing ever since?
Okay. Uh, I've been okay, in general. It's been a roller coaster ride because there were so many changes because NS is a huge thing, and then there were so many phases. So if I one word to describe it, it would just be roller coaster.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow! It hasn't been easy for you there. so,
Well,
oh, sorry. So as we are
yeah.
doing up this episode, we are actually entering the start of phase one of the life of Circuit Breaker. So what have you been
Fi-
doing?
finally,
Yes,
finally.
yes. Finally, I
It's
know
been too
it's
damn long.
been slightly less than 2 months, but I felt that it's
Yeah.
been 1 year. But what have you been doing for the Circuit Breaker, and tell us more about your adventures so far?
Okay. The circuit breaker, right, has been a pretty good period to take a chill pill, relax, and slow down because it's a time where everybody stay home because we want to do our best for the community, right, to make sure it's healthy again. So how I saw it, right, was technically it's like a huge public holiday in a way. Well, I feel that that lightens up the mood, when you're at home. So finally, we have the time, the luxury of time to do whatever we want at home. Yeah.
So have you been like catching up to like any shows or like anything in general?
Oh, not really in shows, but actually in my social life.
Or
So
social life?
yeah. So for example, those friends I haven't catch up with in a long while, I send them a text and message them to see how they're doing, and then for me as well, right, it's a period of self development. So um, I take some time off to go and refresh on my metaphysics studies, on and
Mhm.
off, and I learn new things. And then because during this period is quite well, I work in retail, so all the shops has to be closed. So I got to find other means of income.
Definitely.
So I actually, brush up on my skills, and then I'm trying out um like parts of consulting. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so later we will dive into that part of where we talk about what have you been doing for the past
Mm.
year, especially. Um, but definitely we'll talk about that. Before that, we will talk about this segment where we started this last episode. It's actually a new segment. We call it the Kopi Talk. So
Ah,
prior to
okay.
this, prior to this recording, I actually asked my guest, which is Joseph, to actually bring him his favorite drink, but because due to the circuit breaker measures and also due to the restrictions that's being placed, we are unable to toast in real life, so we will do a toast virtually. But of
E-toast,
course,
e-toast.
no, not that toast, but I
Oh, not
mean
that toast.
drinking toast. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but throughout the show, of course, we're able to drink lah. So don't just put your drink there for display lah. Of course.
Hmm.
So tell us, what drink do you actually bought for the show?
Okay, I actually brought Coca-Cola. You see,
Oh, okay.
Coca-Cola.
So is this the
Uh,
regular version?
yeah, it's the regular version because I love my sweet drinks. It's something that I can't live without. So this drink, right? It's like my childhood because I drink a lot of this stuff when I was younger, and it's become a part of me. I like it. It's a very nice classic drink, yeah, and it's also very simple, not too complicated. That's why I enjoy it.
Okay. So what's your
Yeah,
thoughts on like the low calorie version, like the light version of it, or like other flavors from Coca Cola?
like other flavors, right? I got no complaints, but the Diet Coke, the Coke Zero, and Coke Light, right? Um, no, it's not really working for me. Yeah, because
So
I still love the sugar, but I think if you are a die-hard Coke fan, right? Okay, here's my logic. Okay, because one can, right, of normal Coke. Okay, let's say you're able to drink 50 of these, right, until you get diabetes or something, whatnot. Touch wood. Okay, 50 of these you can drink, in the regular normal sugar level. Now let's say if you take zero, right, maybe you can drink 150 of these before you get to that level.
okay,
What I'm
that's
saying?
a morbid way of putting it, but sure. Okay, but yeah, I remember seeing you drinking Coke when we were in poly. Especially I know that you like eating the South Canteen chicken rice a lot.
Hell yeah.
With yes, and with Coke as well.
With
I
Coke
do
as
like
well.
yes. So it's like a little like combo that you always have there. Okay, now interesting story. As well as for myself, I actually brought Milo this time round. Last
Hey,
episode I
nice.
actually yeah, last episode I brought soya bean, but this time I bought Milo because I just feel like drinking Milo today.
Nice.
Milo wise, I don't really have a specific story, but I just like drinking it because I rather drink Milo than any other chocolate drinks. And I used to like to eat the chocolate. No, the Milo powder straight from the tin can. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know who else does that, but I'd like to do that when I was young, lah. So yeah.
I think
So
what though? Other than like Milo from the tin can, right? They don't. They take the packet, right? And just straight open it and just put it in their mouth, just like that. They just down it
no. I
without
eat
any
from a tin
water.
can. I'm
You
not
from the
as
tin can.
hardcore. No, lah, but I do get a lot of scoldings from my parents because of that, lah. But yeah, let's toast to this.
What's up? Yeah.
All right. So now let's get into our regular interview questions. So as you
Right.
know, this is about Lim Kopi, it's about our connections together, and just want to understand. Do you still remember how we first met?
Oh, definitely. Okay. It was during my poly year one. Our poly year one. So I was from animation course. I wanted something, something different that can help build my portfolio. And then I went around asking, lecturers to which course I could jump to, and then they all recommended me to try motion graphics
Mhm.
and broadcast design. So as part of like a small bridging exercise, right? I think our course coordinator, Mr. Steve, he actually introduced me to you, to Bang Hian, and also to Wilson. So that was when
Seriously?
yeah, yeah, that was when I think that was one day, like I was having lunch, then I happened to see the three of you over there as well.
Okay.
And then since he mentioned about the three of you, I should go and say hi because I think we've been informally introduced before. So just nice that they were having lunch. Saw you at the canteen, so I went and say hi. So I think that's where we started to chat.
Oh,
Right.
I remember vaguely about this. We were at the South Canteen, right?
Yes, South Canteen.
Okay, I remember vaguely, but okay, but for some reason my mind doesn't remember about this when I was prepping the questions for this episode. But for myself, I only
Yeah.
remember you like as a person that I see like whenever I walk past the corridors of level 4. in SIDM. So I
Oh, okay.
always remember you as that one person that I always see very often, and somehow you just strike a conversation with us, and that's how I remember you. And you were encouraging us about motion graphics and broadcast design,
Yeah, motion graphics.
and we just took off from there. And I
Yep.
learned that you are trying to transfer from animation to
Animation
motion
to
graphics.
motion graphics.
Yeah, and that's how I remember about you. But I don't. Okay, I apologize. I don't really remember
Hey,
about
it's
the
okay, it's
South
okay.
Canteen part. But that's interesting to revisit that whole story itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Um, so since then, you actually joined us when you are in semester two. I'm sure that when you
Yes.
first joined in, you actually kind of missed out the very first semester. But then again, during our first semester, a lot of the modules were pretty much quite similar throughout the
Yeah.
entire design courses in SIDM. But I mean, I would say that the second semester, it's really the semester that drives the entire course itself, lah. And since then, I have actually worked with you quite a fair bit on
Mm.
projects in not just in motion graphics, but also maybe personally as well. But
Yeah.
since in semester two, from until now, how will you describe our friendship?
Well, I would say it's very smooth going because, at first we started as acquaintances. I'm not so sure whether, will I be able to make it to MGBD during year one, or I have to wait longer and then go to year two, and then, we don't graduate together. So at first, right, I thought, oh, okay, whatever will be, right? Then suddenly I made the cut in the second semester, and then I joined you guys officially. So on and off, right? Because we work on different projects and with different classmates, right? I felt that because you're someone who also likes to explore and also
Yes.
take different inspirations from anywhere else, right? So you would entertain anybody who strike a conversation with you. So that's why I felt that was very easy to talk to you. And then because we got certain ideas that bounce off each other, and then that's where we hit off very well. So from exchanging this little bit of ideas, right, then we slowly became closer as friends.
Yes, definitely
Yeah.
from our lunch talks all the way into project talks as well.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely.
Wow, it's really been a long journey in there as well. I mean, we had our hardships as well. We had a few debates as well in
Yeah.
there, but I think especially during our studio project together. So we actually were doing this project where we had to do a fictionalized campaign for Rolex, and I would say that it wasn't the most smooth sailing. Actually did have our problems as well, because we are both of us, we are not trained in 3D. So doing
Yeah.
3D, and we are part of we like to do a lot of 2D stuff. So when we are doing 3D stuff, and it was a total nightmare. I remember
Yeah.
there was
Exactly.
one night I stayed over just for the renders, and then
Oh my
and
god.
it wasn't fun and we had a lot of arguments like what to compromise and what not to compromise, and trying to achieve the same vision that the both of us have for the project itself lah. But other than that,
Yeah.
I'm
Correct.
very thankful that the project didn't separate us, but I think our friendship kind of just grew from there as well. So
Hmm.
for that self, I'm quite thankful lah.
Yeah, actually, right, that one was
Mm-hmm.
the second part of the assignment because that whole studio project thing, right, it actually started from infographics, right? Correct. It
Yes,
was an
yes, correct.
infographics assignment. So we actually chose the brand Rolex, and we wanted to differentiate, the difference between a real Rolex and a fake Rolex, because there's so many categories that we can talk about. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just chose, like a few how to spot the real from the fakes, and then it started from there. And then after that, when the lecturers were barking, right, it said actually this is a good area to explore on, and then it evolved into a video project, infographic style.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
correct. But also speaking of Rolex, you were a avid watch collector as well, right? I mean, when I'm not sure when you're
Mm.
in poly as well, but I know that after poly, I see your Instagram stories like, and also your posts. You're buying a couple of watches here and there.
Yeah. Because okay, here's the strange part. Because when we were doing that assignment, right, I was like, I got nothing for watches. But over time, I felt, how this little thing grew. Right, was that there was quite a few changes in my choices. Like for example, fashion
Mm.
style. So what sparked the want, right, to get different kinds of watches is actually the make of the watch, the
Yes.
style, the straps, and for what purpose. So I thought, okay, why not I get one of each from a few categories, and then I'm sorry, that's the gas. Yeah.
Too much coke.
So exactly, too much coke. I got one more can. I got two cans. Look at this right here.
Oh no.
Oh, so having like so many clothings, right? To try new styles and clothing, right? Then
Hmm.
and having like a basic collection of watches to pair with, then I feel that's what I need right now. And then at the same time, right, because at that time when I started to buy, I was working part time and I'm having a little bit of income. So at that point, I felt okay, I got the means to do it, so I'll just buy. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then
Okay.
suddenly it became this interest.
I see. I see. So I would say that you like watches as well. You like to play with cards. I know you're into cardistry as well, but I think
Oh
your
yeah.
passion for that faded a bit, right? I would say, or is
Oh
still
yeah.
ongoing with that.
Mm, it actually faded a bit because I
Mm.
need to make room for new skill sets to come along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at that point in time, right, cardistry was relevant because it's a nice hobby. But right
Yeah.
now, right, I gotta learn new stuff, new skill sets, new hobbies, right, to help me progress further. Mm.
Yeah, I also remembered that during our fusion showcase. Oh, by the way, if you don't know what fusion showcase is, where after 3 years of our works in poly, we actually get to have this showcase where we can showcase whatever that we have done for the past 3 years. And for Joseph, something interesting about him is that his name card was greatly inspired by playing cards, and he actually went to create his name card that was quite flexible in a way that if you put it as like a set itself, it looks like a deck of playing cards. I'm not sure if you still
Yeah,
remember this. Yeah,
yeah,
and
I own it. Yeah, and then if you were
and
to like fan it, right, it becomes a nice, becomes a very nice display.
yeah, so I actually told my juniors that like this is one of the examples of really good personal brandings, and I still bring the name card to show to juniors if they inquire me about name cards lah. So
Oh,
like
thanks.
I do have a personal collection of like really good name cards. I do keep a couple of them, and sometimes when I show them to to juniors, they ask me about it, and I just show them like this is one of good examples lah. And yours is the most memorable one. I still remember how the design looks like, the texture of the name card. I think it's one of the more interesting name cards I've seen out there lah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
flattered. Thanks.
yeah, yeah. No worries, no worries. I think you have set a good example of like how somebody should be doing their own personal branding as well lah. Mm.
Although it was a little bit more unorthodox, but you do you.
Yeah, it
Uh,
speaks basically it speaks Joseph in a way, and I'm actually very proud that you actually came out with such a really interesting but also something that is very impactful at the same time.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so actually I do have one last question
Oh yeah.
before we actually head off to the main topics of the day.
Right.
Now that we have graduated for 3 years, 3 years already, and now let me pose this question to you. How would you have gone through poly again if you have the chance to?
If I had the chance to go through poly
At least the
again,
same course.
oh, at least the same course like
Yeah.
animation or whatnot, right? Oh, Okay.
Let's just say that you have another chance of taking up the same route. That means, again, you went through animation again. Then after that, half a semester again. Then you just go back to motion graphics. I mean, you accepted into motion graphics. So like during this whole journey itself, how would you started the journey better, and how would you have ended better?
Oh, okay. Actually, okay, to be like really honest with you, I have a very different point of view this time. So with regards to going like okay, like, before I continue, I'm very thankful for the people and the life lessons I had in poly.
Mm.
But frankly speaking, it's not I think the most glorious 3 years that I had. So if I had a chance to actually do it again, right? Actually, yeah, to be frank, I wouldn't do it again.
Really? That's an
yeah,
interesting
I
perspective
yeah,
to hear.
I wouldn't do it again, but I'm thankful for the people that I met because I realized right that I actually enjoy talking and engaging and connecting people even more. I like the fact that the creativity I have right and just that energy that I have right can help people and can help inspire people.
Mhm.
So I felt that actually the art and design path right was actually an outlet for me to discover who I am as a person. Yeah,
Mm.
but not my real mission yet though.
So it's just
Then
an outlet for you to express your true emotions and your
ah
creativity. Mm, interesting. So you wouldn't have chosen those two courses already. You might have just chosen something else, like maybe banking or maybe engineering or something.
oh no, that's boring. I would choose more to like a communications
Oh,
module or course. Uh,
I think hospitality might suit you better.
yeah, provided if I don't lose my shit and it become hostility course, huh?
Okay lah, but I'm sure that there's a lot of life lessons that we have really learned for the past 3 years, and even
yeah,
after the graduation as well. Even for myself, I've learned a lot as well lah. But that is of course a story for another day lah. It's gonna be a very
yeah, of
long story
course,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah. So after 3 years, you actually took on, from what I've understood from your profiles and also understanding from you as a person, you actually kind of switch industries. So in a way that you being as a creative, you actually switch industries, and just tell us the viewers as what you do right now lah.
Oh, okay. So right now, I'm actually working in the retail industry. I'm actually a fragrance consultant. So what I do is that I study fragrances and I also sell them. So like I study the components or ingredients that they are made of, and also which fragrance families and how you classify them. So because at our store, the brand I'm working at is called Pet Elegance. It's a brand all the way from London.
Okay.
So in my like field of work, I have to recommend our fragrances to our customers. So that customer comes in, right? We need to ask them about their perfume preferences, and then from there we discover what kind of ingredients do they like to wear, what feeling do they want, or what mood are they in. For example, like you could
Ooh.
go for a certain event, right? You could wear a lot of scents, but over here we talk more about your emotions, what image you want to portray, and then we start to select for you. Yeah, so it's a very nice process because uh, you know it's a place where I still can retain my creative personality because
Definitely.
because you can to help the customers to visualize what setting they're in, the words you use,
Mhm.
and how you make customers feel through talking to them, right? It all plays a part, in sharing with them that vision that you want them to see, and also closing a sale. Yeah.
I
So
see, I
I,
see.
mm,
Is there like a particular reason why you actually switch from being a creative to what you're doing right now?
oh, yeah, because it actually caught me by surprise, to be honest, because
Mm-hmm.
that time after I graduated from poly, right, I have about a 4 month window till my NS starts. So what I
Oh
did,
yeah, when did you
yeah,
in again? October,
I went
right?
October.
Oh yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Oh sorry, you're saying
no,
about
it's okay.
the
Because I thought you were gonna say something as well.
no no. You
Oh,
were saying
okay, okay.
about you had a 4 months window before going to NS.
Yes. So it was during that time I wanted to make some money because it is boring and then you gotta stay at home and rot, right? That's not a very good thing to have. So I was like, right,
Hmm.
why not I take these 4 months, right, and develop a new skill set, to diversify and grow even more. So what I did, right, was that I went door to door in MBS. Okay, I went from one shop to another shop, going in and ask them three things. Do you have a part-time job? What's your
Hmm.
hourly what's the hourly rate? And then how long are you gonna hire? So literally, I walk from the first floor, I go to the basement, I go to the second to basement two, I left, right, left, right, left, right, and then suddenly, right, when I ended up at the shop called Penhaligons, right, the perfume place, I thought that place was actually not too bad, because it's all about storytelling, and then sharing a piece of their culture there as well. So eventually, right, I went in for interview, and then my job started over there. So at that point, right, I actually struggled with talking to customers, talking to people, because I was very introverted. But
Yes, yes.
I was very introverted. I was very shy. I don't know what to do, and especially when it comes to sharing my ideas, right? I tend to stutter, which I still do on and off. Yeah, but that has helped me grow, like break out, you know, from this shy person, right, to become someone who's quite gutsy and who likes having fun. So one of the things that I enjoy, right, is that what this job can give me, and I thought, okay, why not? Since this is, I did it for 4 months, right? I wouldn't mind coming back to grow even more, and then enjoy what I do. Yeah.
Actually, I'm really happy for you that you found something that you really like to do, and it has really grew you maturely as a person as well. So I'm sure that those 3 months, no, sorry, those 4 months that you were doing as a fragrance consultant, it mustn't have been easy, especially as it was a total different industry than what you're doing. And do you have any like memorable experiences working there that you could share with us?
Oh, I got one. Okay, because the crowd at Marina Bay Sands, right? They
Hmm.
are a very colorful bunch. You see different kinds of characters. So there was one night during my part time, right? I was on night shift, and then there was this Japanese guy that came in with two of his social escorts.
Okay.
So yeah, this is where it gets like crazy, right? So they came in. He was half drunk. He was very high. I served him, and then I helped them choose a fragrance for both of his escorts. So then when it came to payment, right, he paid in
Mhm.
cash, I think about $1,000, and the two bottles of perfume at the time came out to be about, say, $700. So he paid using a $1,000 note. So the ladies that he was with, right, his escorts, right, they were scantily clad, very, like, they're wearing like really low cut tops, so you could see
Okay.
the exposed cleavage, right? So what he did with the change was that he separated it into two, okay, 1,300. So it was around 150 in each hand. What he did next, right, he folded the money in both hands and shoved it right
Oh no.
between the boobs.
Oh no.
Yeah, he shoved it right between the boobs. The guy was in the middle, right? Okay, the two ladies were here. He was like, okay, here, like, here and here. Okay,
Okay,
then I was
knowing
like,
you, knowing you, I couldn't imagine how much you tried to hold in your laughter. Ah, oh my
but I
goodness,
understand.
why?
Like, hey, I understood, that the guy is having a good time. I was like, I told him, say, I'm glad you enjoy your fragrances. So, really. That's great, you know. Right. So so I told them like I'm not sure where you guys are gonna go like later on this evening, but enjoy yourself and be safe. Bye bye.
And when was this?
That this one was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Before you were in NS lah,
Before
basically.
it's NS. So this
Oh,
was one of
okay.
the more exciting and colorful experience I had as a
Oh,
part timer there. The guy just took
I
the money and
don't.
it went straight to the boobs.
Oh my goodness. I never have heard such an interesting story before. Okay, sure. Um, Actually, for me personally, I'm not really into fragrance, but
Yeah.
I only wear it for special occasions lah.
Okay.
But if you were to recommend me one, like how will you recommend? Just wondering.
Oh, okay. I would definitely ask you, are there any like scents or ingredients that you like? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say like right now, do you have any sort of particular smell or ingredients that you like?
Uh, Honestly, I don't know how to answer this question, but I like sweet stuff, I guess. Sweet or maybe just minty
Mm-hmm.
smells.
Okay, sweet. Minty scent. Okay, that's all right. That's interesting. So for minty scent, right? What do you like about it? Do you like it because of the
It's
mint
just
smell?
refreshing lah.
It's just refreshing. Okay,
Yes.
so let's say because okay, and then the next thing we actually consider, right, is actually your lifestyle. Yeah. So for
Oh.
you, like you have a very active lifestyle or not so active one.
Semi-active, but because
Okay.
circuit breaker, I can't do much anyway. But I
Okay,
like to
that's
be
cool. That's cool.
outdoors. But I like to be
Outdoors.
outdoors. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, then most definitely we'll recommend you something along the lines that has, slightly fresh with a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a floral scent, but with a woody base. So,
Ooh.
um, so when you wear it out, right, throughout the day, you will feel there's a sense of freshness and also a very refreshing element. Yeah, because normally if you have a semi active lifestyle, right, you tend to go out more in the day or in the night. Like, what do you do?
Oh, it's equal proportions actually. But
Mm.
usually if I were to wear scents, right,
Yeah.
it's usually for occasions like gatherings, or it could be in like functions wise, or it could be just meetings. But I don't wear it for like just casual purposes, or like if I'm just going out to get like a groceries. Like I don't think I'll be wearing a scent at all. Yeah, so probably just occasions, or I'll probably just wear for that.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
like for your like taste, right? Do you prefer to blend in or do you prefer to stand out to make an impression?
Maybe more of blending,
Blend
because I
in?
used to like to stand out a lot. You should know
Yeah.
this by now.
Yeah.
But I think recently, like I like to just slightly casually slide into maybe a conversation. I don't like to just like, hey, like I'm here. I don't like to open a door and say, oh, I'm here. No, it's not my style anymore. Like I used to be quite bold in my personality, but I
Mm.
think over the years, NS has changed me quite a bit, and I think I have really stepped down in terms of that personality. I just became a little more introverted at times, but I still remain my extroverted qualities in myself lah.
Yeah, and also your creative character as well. That's the thing that never die off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, viewers, if you like to get fragrance consulting from Joseph, anyway, at the end of the episode, I'll definitely link his handles um, in the video, or if you're watching it from any other platforms, you can definitely check him out from the description, or maybe the comments, or I don't know, wherever I'm gonna upload. So because I haven't uploaded as of this episode recording, I haven't uploaded the first episode to the Spotify, but I'm actually intending to do so maybe right after this episode recording. But hopefully, like if you are watching from there, I'll hopefully link his handles from there as well lah. But other than that, if you're watching from YouTube, I'll definitely end off this episode from there, and you see his handles. All right. Um,
Yeah.
so if from what I've understood, you actually now doing fragrance consultant for at least about 2-3 years already, and at the
Oh,
same
no, no, no. I did, like 2 years ago, I did for 4 months, and
yes,
then
correct.
I returned to the same job for, I think this is my seventh or eighth month already. So roughly, okay, you know what,
Oh yeah, I forgot to put NS into account. I
yeah,
forgot.
okay. So discounting the 2 years ago, right? 8 months, 8 months. Let's call it. Let's do it.
Okay,
8 months.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
for eight
8 months in
months.
the industry, but that's not the whole point that I was trying to ask. Because during your NS, I was actually quite surprised because you
Ah,
were also into this thing called 八字. And I think it came as a surprise for not just me, but some of my friends as well. Especially like, because me and Wilson, we do meet up quite often.
oh, okay.
So, so we actually talk about you. We're like wondering, why is this Joseph doing parts? We thought
Like,
that it's just a phase in your life, but then we thought that, oh, actually you're quite serious about it, and we actually not started to take you more and more serious whenever we talk about you. We say that, this Joseph, he's doing parts. Actually, he's doing quite well. Oh, but to
ah,
viewers that doesn't really understand what is parts is, can you try to explain what is parts all about?
yeah, sure. Um, okay, I'm gonna like sidetrack a little bit, but I'm just gonna share with you like how I got into it roughly,
Sure,
and
we
then
are
I'll
going to talk
describe to
about that
you
anyway.
what is it. Okay, okay. Okay, but I'll follow your flow. So, puzzle, right? It's called, well, in English translation, right? It's just 8 characters. So,
Okay.
what do these 8 characters do, right? This information is taken from your time of birth, your day of birth, your month of birth, and year of birth. And this, right, will actually form your natal chart in this Chinese metaphysics area of study, where you study one's fate. Yeah. Normally, people would call it destiny reading, but actually,
Mm.
there's a misconception there because your destiny, right? It hasn't happened yet, but so it can always change. It's always changing. But the things that you're born with, right, which is what you're fated to have, then it's fate. You can't fix that. It's written in stone already. Uh,
Mm.
so it's a form of Chinese astrology. So studying this, right, you can understand what is your temperament like, what kind of person are you, what kind of choices are you, how say, will you be, will you be more likely to make with regards to wealth issues, relationships, friends, and also importantly your job. So normally, people when they look at these, right, they would want to know, okay, uh, what kind of character am I? Uh, can I be rich? Is my relationship life good? That's like the top three things that
Yeah.
I always get during a consult. Yeah. So in short,
So
it's just a
okay.
study of your own fate. Yeah, and it's Chinese astrology.
Interesting, interesting. Now I learned something new. Um, just wondering, is it very ignorant of me of saying that this is just like fortune telling?
Huh? Well,
Is
you're
this
not. Oh,
ignorant?
mm, not quite though, because there is no proper way to coin it back then. You see, because
Mm.
anything to this level, right? They're like, oh my gosh, it must be from the gods. It must be like this super super duper like master or whatnot, right?
Mm.
So at that point in time, right, it was like magic to them because they can't see a clear cut solution. So it happened
Okay.
like that. So that's why it called somewhat to like fortune telling. So there was no proper way to coin it. So you're not wrong. Yeah.
Mm. So all this is actually just based on calculations of the 8 different traits of the person.
Oh, not your
In
different traits, but characters. So in
oh
this
yeah,
system,
characters. Yes.
yeah, like I'm thinking, would it be helpful, right, if I were to like if you were to add in like maybe a few images or graphics of what I'm talking about, maybe we could consider it, but for later on. So in short, right, these
Okay, I try. I try.
yeah, never mind. Maybe later we handle it offline. Then we see how.
But you're giving me more work. Well, okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll try to add in a bit here and there. So Joseph is gonna assist me on
Yeah.
giving me a bit of graphics to explain what he's trying to talk about lah. So yeah, sure. Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Okay. So this one, right, is a study of also energy, because in ancient China, right, how they associate the energy from the gods, right, and or work of the gods, right, is through nature and also through energy. So when they see wood, what they can study from wood or metal or water and nature, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then slowly they also study farm animals, because in ancient China, right, they are all farmers now. They had to start in that area, so that's why you can see the 12 zodiacs, like your rat. Okay, yeah. Let me your rat, your ox, your tiger, your dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Right, they're all farm animals except for the dragon. I don't know how it got there, but based on the behavior of these animals, right, they also deduce a person's character. So let's say, how they derive from taking the month, the year, the time of birth, and the day, right? They actually have allocated animal signs to all of them, and also the 10 heavenly stamps, which is the invisible energy. Yeah. So, for example, you have the year of the rat, right? This year, so every year you have an animal sign and an element assigned to a year. So this year happened to be the year of the metal rat, where it comes in hours and minutes as well, right? They also have the same system. It always rotates. So, for example,
Oh.
for every 2 hours, right, is one animal sign, and every day and every month is one animal sign. So for the hour, right, because there are 24 hours, the hours in the day are split amongst the 12 zodiacs. So that's why you have 2 hours allocated to one animal, and then depending on the activity or the time where they're born, right, the person is born, you plot the chart, and then that's where you actually derive the 8 characters or their 八字.
Oh, that's interesting story.
Mhm.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Um, I mean, I couldn't really absorb so much of it, but I do know that it must have been a challenge for you when you started to study 八字. But so far up to now,
Yeah.
when you first got to be exposed of 八字, is there like a biggest challenge that you have with 八字, and how are you going to overcome this challenge?
Oh, definitely. Because what I'm reading or studying right now, right, the material has already been translated from Chinese to English in the most basic
Oh, oh
form.
no.
Yeah. So thankfully, right, the content that I'm having, right, has been translated. Yeah, the people who did the translation, right, did their due diligence. However, that's only to somewhat to the basic and intermediate level. But let's say if I were to really get down to it and study the hardcore way, right? Because all these things existed in China, so they're all in Chinese. But some information, right, tend to get lost during translation, and and there's a and this actually adds on to another problem, is how do we get the more advanced stuff, right, from the Chinese classics, because
Yes, definitely.
all of these advanced 八字 or feng shui information, right, the logic, they were written by Chinese military strategists, Chinese people in royalty as well. So all the classics, right, they are
Oh.
compiled together, and eventually, they were not meant to be shared to common people until their cities were pillaged, and all these information from the libraries, right, are mass printed and distributed. So that was how um, this information, right, gets spread out. Yeah. So back then, knowing this kind of knowledge, right, the knowledge of the heavens, so they call it, it's more towards for the people of status, like the royalty, the emperor, the imperial family, and a few of the military strategies. Only to these people. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know about this. So I must imagine that you really have to study the Chinese language quite often just to even to understand and interpret the writings of 八字 basically lah.
Yes, in a way. So because this subject, right? Everyone is trying to learn it. Like you got people from out of Asia who are trying to learn this art, right? So because of the language barrier, the characters that uh, they're not so familiar with, right, and its interpretations, right, they need some time to get familiar with the Chinese characters and then learn the characteristics. Yeah. So for me, being familiar with Chinese, right, it's very simple. You see this symbol? Oh, okay, you know what it is. You see that one? Oh, you know what it is. Whereas if you don't know Chinese, you're like, okay, what is this symbol? What is this picture? This one look like okay, this word. Then then you start to think. Yeah.
But how are
So
you with Chinese before you started 八字 actually?
I'm shit with Chinese. Fun fact, because my dad, right, he actually wanted me to, because he felt that Chinese is important, because you as a you're racially Chinese, you're raised in Asia,
Mm,
so you have to speak Chinese like really really well. And at that
of
point, right,
course.
I don't see the point in doing that, because I'm not gonna write like papers all that in Chinese. I'm gonna do it in English. So that time, my dad was so insistent that, oh, you must practice and revise Chinese every day, until I got irritated. Oh, I think I was sharing this with my auntie or my mom. I told him, hey, as long as I know that the person is scolding me in Chinese, and I understand it, and I can scold that person back, I think it's fine. If you go to a point where you don't know where you're being laughed at or mocked at in Mandarin, right, you're screwed.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But it's the same as dialects as well, what? So if somebody
Yeah,
is scolding you in dialects, nobody's gonna understand you.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
lah,
Like,
but
as long as you know enough to communicate, right, I feel that's fine.
yeah.
You don't have to be, Shakespeare in Chinese, like, eh.
So as long as you understand the advanced writings, I think that will go well for you, lah, in a way.
Yeah, if it doesn't go well, right, it's fine. We have Google Translate.
Oh no! Don't use that. No, we all know that that's not going to help a lot. But sure. Actually, when I was in Vietnam last year, I used Google Translator to make myself, go around when I was exploring the city alone.
Yeah.
So there was one fine day, I was actually with my ex girlfriend. So
Ah,
she actually fell sick
oh no.
um, during the trip. So she was having like a slight mild fever, and I really had to go to the nearest pharmacy alone. By the way, I have to buy like a simple um, noodle dish for her, which is soupy, and as well
Okay.
as I had to get some medicine, which I don't know what medicine exactly, but I only know that when I go to the pharmacy, I was like, Google Translate, do you have any medicine for fever? And then I showed my phone to the person, and then they were like, oh, okay, okay. Then they say, oh, this is this amount of money. Then I was like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
would say
You're
that
lucky that
Google
the translation
Translate,
went well. Yeah.
no, the translation went well at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
So I
Hopeful.
um
Thank goodness.
thank goodness, but she recovered during the trip, and I was very thankful for that. And even when I was buying the dish when I was alone, I was like,
Yeah.
shit, how do I say this in Vietnamese? I only know Sing Chow. so when I was trying to buy the dish, because
Yeah.
I must have it in takeaway. So I said
Okay.
that I went to my phone again. I said, how much is one? Then she tell me the amount, and then I say, then I went to type in how much. Sorry, can I have it as takeaway? And then when I look at her with the phone, she was like a bit confused because usually from what I've understood, I don't really see people take away actually. So I don't know whether that's the culture there in Vietnam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she was a bit confused and she was a bit puzzled because I think most of her clients, most of her customers are just eating there on the spot.
Oh,
So
okay. Like
Yeah, she was super confused.
I got a question. I got a question. You asked,
Yeah.
like, you literally went to the lady there and asked her how much, right?
Yeah, I did with the phone, but then again, I think I literally, I mean, it was kind of obvious I need to buy something, right? But then again, I understood some basic Vietnamese, like I know what's the meaning for chicken, and beef, because these two are the
Ah,
most popular meat in Vietnam.
yep,
So I
yes.
kind of recognize the difference between the meats. So I kind of guess what the dish is. But the problem is I don't know if it's soup or it's dry or it's rice or it's noodle. So I have to kind of play by ear. So I think the great thing about technology is that, right, I use my phone. I went to take a picture on like some of the posters. Then I use like some because there's some apps where you actually can kind of like translate the words that is, you took from the picture from, and then you'll translate from there. So I
Yeah.
relied on those two applications a lot, which is the Google Translate and the the picture scanner. So that's how I relied a lot when I was alone, or at least with friends. So to kind of figure out my way when I was in Vietnam. Lah. So it's quite interesting actually. But then again, for your site, yes, sure, if you don't understand Google Translate, but I don't know how Google Translate is going to help you at times because let's be honest, there's certain things that Google Translate can't really settle
Yeah.
properly. So it's like there's a lot of double meanings as well. There's a lot of I don't know pronunciation. No, sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
a
There's
lot
a
of
lot of double meaning. Like earlier, I forgot to continue. Right, was that you had to ask the lady how much. You know,
Mhm.
at face value, you're just asking like how much is the dish, right? But like
Uh-huh.
legit, if you went up to her and asked her how much, right, it's as if she was like a prostitute or something. So you went up to her and said, "Hey, how
Oh
much?"
come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay,
She was
maybe
a
that's
food
why
vendor. Come on.
she sounded a little bit of shocked. That she was surprised, like, oh.
No lah. I mean because I was in the less touristy part of Hanoi.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, so I think that might have helped her to become more and more confused when I was showing her my phone at all times. But I think then again, I managed to get the food, so oh well.
Yeah, thank goodness, and nothing extra. Okay, safe.
Not, no, 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 no. We are not getting into that. That's a bit too much. Okay, okay.
Okay, but
Uh,
yeah, I got
yeah,
like
you
one. I
say.
got I got one question. So just to be sure, right? Like for this like Lim Kopi, right, is there any rating? Is it like PG-13 or is it best to keep it at PG-13? That kind.
We try to keep it
We
PG
try with
13, but
PG-13.
we try,
Okay,
because
then
your
we might
earlier
wanna cut
story
that out,
took.
Licha.
No, 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 no. I won't cut it out, but I would say that your previous story for the your part time job took me aback. I was like, I didn't expect that at all. I thought it's some stupid
Hey,
story where,
hey,
you know,
neither did I know. You still gotta put that in. That's gonna be like one of the highlights there. And say what happened? I saw a guy stuff $150 into a lady's cleavage.
oh my goodness. Okay lah, but for the goal of this show is I
Yeah.
try my best to keep it PG-13, but again, not all people can keep it that way, so I can't help it anyway.
But it's okay, you get entertainment value.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely entertaining. It's the
Yeah.
first I'm hearing. I just thought that the customer would be just unreasonable and you just taken aback by it, and then something happened that is so unreasonable or so unexpected, and that's all I expected from that story, but it didn't
Oh,
happen that way. And
thank God no, man. Because I was the only one on shift.
huh, you're the only one there.
Yeah, I was the only one there.
How could they just entrust you like that? Okay, but sure. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, fine, fine, fine. But let's not get to that. That story is like 30 minutes ago, but
Yeah.
sure. Okay, coming back to parts. What's one thing you actually wished that you have known before you started out?
Uh, Actually, I didn't, because I feel that life itself, right, is quite unpredictable and everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
So actually, this is very interesting because how I got into parts, right, was when during NS, you know, I had to plan in advance because when I finished NS, right, I'm like thinking, okay, what the hell do I do? Because I have a gut feeling, right, that me being in the design industry or the media or art industry, right, I'm not gonna survive there. It's because I feel that the demands of this was slightly different already, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a bit disheartening because I need to abandon my childhood dream. So getting used to the fact, right, that I have to come to terms with it, right, actually felt a lot easier. So during my NS time, right, I was thinking, oh, what do I do? What do I do? So at that point in time, I was like, God, if there's anything that you can help me understand myself better, or even use, right, during this time in NS that can help me to work better, please
Okay.
give it to me. And then next thing you know, after I said a prayer like that prayer, next week my boss was like, hey Joseph, I got something to share with you. I'm actually doing this online puzzle course. It's called Grow Rich with puzzle. So what I'm gonna do, right, is that I'm gonna study the course and I'm gonna read your puzzle for you, so that you know what to do and to see whether you're in line with things that you want to do or not. So,
Oh.
and then, right, suddenly I was like, okay, I did say anything, right? So I was like, okay, God couldn't be shitting on me this time. So I took it. I was like, okay, you know what? The chips are all in, right? It's do or die. So I was like, okay, I was open minded. I'm being freaking open minded with this thing. So
Yeah.
the more he showed me this thing that he was studying, right, I was like, hey, since that topic, right, is, streamlined to maximize your wealth capacity, why not
Mm-hmm.
I study the basics on my own free time? Like I can Google, books to read, Google for, blog pages. And then that was where I started to learn the basics and read. And then because he paid for the course material and whatnot, right, he actually shared his notes with me. And then guess what? I was learning from two sources, and the info was very consistent. So I added here and there, and then I read so much out of it. So that's how I got
Oh, that
started.
was very nice of him.
Yeah. So eventually, right, what turned out to be an idea to help me, right? It actually helped myself. And guess what? Earlier this year, right, I did a consultation session for him.
Oh my goodness. Oh well, life took a full circle here.
full circle. Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness, a circle of life,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So coming back to whether if I learned this previously, right, I felt that if this information was given to me at that point in time in my life, right, I would reject it. So I feel that life has brought me to a point where I can understand things, or I'm learning to understand things more. So at a time when this piece of treasure was given to me, I was like, you know what? It's time to pick this up and see what it can do. Since the thought was there, right? Why not just give it a shot? And then, right, it took me by surprise, man. And then here I am today, trying to, study more. I improve myself a lot in the things I want to do and chase. Yeah. So I become a lot more proactive in doing this and achieving my goals. And I became a lot
Wow.
more positive. I discover, the talents or abilities that I didn't have, I knew back then, or maybe I was just subconsciously tapping into it. But now, whatever I have, right, I can tap it actively.
Oh, I'm really, really happy for you that
Oh,
now you found something that you really like a lot.
yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next maybe 5, 10 years? Are you gonna still continue with Bazi, or something else gonna come in again, like how you did for the past few years for yourself?
Mm, I think definitely what is consistent, right, is actually the evolution of interest, like the change.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, 八字 and metaphysics will remain a key part of me until I have to give it up, which is okay because I feel that the tools or the things we learn where we are in life, right, actually helps us to journey better. So
Definitely.
yeah, so next 5 years, right, let's say what am I gonna do after this pandemic is done? I'm gonna use my abilities or expertise, right, to do investing. I will also climb up in terms of my career. So I'm trying to do that
Mm-hmm.
slowly, where I can do it, how I can add value to the current place that I'm working at. Because I feel that if you can serve, right, and the place, you're able to deliver something unexpected and what they need, right, and then they will see value in you, and then that's where you have the high ground to strike a deal, or where you can realize your potential there.
But I really, really have to ask you this question, and I really
Ah,
hate
yeah.
to ask you this.
Why you hate to
Um,
ask me this?
no,
Why?
I'm quite curious about this. So,
Hmm.
if you had to give up one thing, is it gonna be 八字 or your fragrance?
Whoa.
Oh, okay, but I don't think you might have an answer for this. But you just take a 5 seconds. I know, like give a 5 cents thought about it. Yeah.
Okay. Uh. Okay. I would do fragrance
Oh, that's interesting.
because the fragrance job, right? To be honest, it's just a means to an end. Because
Hmm.
I need money to survive. You know, we need a job to do. But for me, right? I feel that 八字 is this outlet to serve people and to enrich people's life, like whoever who walks into my life or whoever needs a consult, I'll be glad to help them out. So because of this, right, this side skill that I have, right, it's a value added for me. And come on, you have a job like this, right? You have your reputation there, people are willing to consult you, right? At that time,
Mhm.
right, you may be looking for a full-time job. Just so happens you help the right people, they hook you up with the right connections, right? It does work that way as well. So definitely one thing, like no choice I gotta give up, right? That would be fragrance. Yeah. The skills I learned, hell no. Because you can always reapply this into any situation that you want, because that's like your game plan in a way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So now, before I really end off this
Hmm.
podcast, I just have a couple more questions left, just maybe one or two.
Yeah.
Um, would you see yourself coming back to become a creative person again? What I mean by this is basically what you do.
Yeah.
Previously, when you were in poly, basically doing motion graphics or doing illustrations, do you think you see yourself going back there, or do you think you just go on to do your fragrance and doing parts consultation?
Okay. In terms of job wise, right? Designer
Mm-hmm.
and all these and whatnot, right? I don't think so in the near future, but I am open to the possibilities because of the change that is going on right now, right? I aim to be more adaptable and deployable and and be relevant lah, because you have this skill set, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow you aren't able to mold yourself into a certain shape, right? That at that point in
Definitely.
time is very crucial, right? Where people can put a lot of money and value in that, then uh you know and you can't make that change, right? It totally sucks because you will miss out on a lot of opportunities. So helping me in this sense, right, it helps me to keep real, because I'm a dreamer and I will never lose that spirit. But in this setting where you have to be a lot more practical, right, I will be I aim to actually see where I can use my creativity and then start from there, because you never know what can happen, because being a
Yes.
creative individual, right, be it designing or you do clothing, you do apparel, you design stuff, and you help to paint the world something nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just a language, but you cannot lose your creative spirit. And having that creative spirit, right, is very hard. It's either you're born with it, or you don't have it at all. So
I
I
agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, so the creative part will never die, but the medium, right, in which I use the creativity and apply, right, it will be different. But yeah, so it will just be changed, yeah.
I think just to add on,
Yeah.
also is that anybody can do designing. That's for sure. But anybody who has the spirit to do it, and he must have the passion that drives a person to do forward. I mean, like I always tell people, I mean, anybody can do design, but if you don't have the passion
Mm.
for it, there's no, I mean, they're not really cut out for it. Just saying, because that is the really the basic fuel to do design in the first place, because it's not like any other job where it's something that is like, oh, it's academic based, but because this is not academic based, this is creative based.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get your creative juices going, you can't really do much. There's so much a tutorial can teach you, but they don't teach you to be creative.
Yeah, exactly. And just to add on, right, something very interesting that I learned in metaphysics, right, creativity is actually an energy, because you yourself, right,
Yes.
need to be in tune. You're somewhat spiritually in tune, or your intuition is there, right? A portion of you, your psychological self or your subconscious self, will speak to you in that way. And then, intuition, right, is actually a form of subconscious activity and energy that links, in terms of the spiritual level through the universe, and the vibrations that you release and you receive, right? That is technically where the creative energy come from. If you can tap into it, right, and you have the ability to tap into it, right, then you have it. So some people, they do not have, which is, okay, fine, but they have, other things to back up, which is totally okay, because life is, you give and
Definitely.
take, you win some, you lose some. So interesting thing to add in for your for creativity, right? It's actually uh has something to do with that realm. Yeah, it's a form of energy.
Okay. One last question before we
Yeah.
end off this podcast is that now, now that you have studied Bazi for 1 year, and is there like any tips that you want to give to anybody who want to study and practice Bazi?
Let's see. Uh,
It can be a
Definitely.
very simple tip, or it can be just a
Hmm.
very generic tip. Tip. It doesn't need to be very life changing.
Okay. Okay. Very important is to have the clarity of mind, because
Hmm.
you need to ask yourself, why are you learning this for? What's your purpose of using it? Because once you define your purpose and you have clarity, right,
Yeah.
your learning ability, your focus, you'll be streamlined to whatever goal that you want to achieve, and it will be a much more self-directed learning. Like, for example, why do I want to use a fork and a spoon? Because I want to eat, because I'm hungry,
Hmm.
right? I wouldn't use a freaking helicopter to eat, right? In
It's
that way.
unexpected, but sure.
Yeah, so you have to define your purpose, why you want to do it, because some people, when they learn, right, they learn everything, there's no focus, then they get lost. So have a clarity of mind, you want to use it for what, why do you want to learn it, then you streamline your learning. And then once you get those topics that you want to learn about, you got it covered, right, then you can branch out into other things. Yeah, so have clarity of mind and know why you want to study this for. Yeah, then your learning will be quicker.
That's a really wise advice right there. So anyway, if any of our viewers is interested to know about fragrance or 八字, I'm sure that you can actually connect with Joseph. So Joseph, how can
Yeah.
we, as viewers, just connect with you online?
Okay. Definitely through Instagram, because what I'm doing right now, right, is that actually I put in my Instagram story highlights that should anybody need a consultation session, or just to discover this art, right, I'll be more than happy to entertain them. So for the
Sure.
things that I do, what I can do, right, is that I can help you discover what is your best personality trait. If you're thinking of a job, what nature or what role do you play best? Relationship, compatibility things, yeah. How do you make your money, and also things, for example, you have a certain idea or strategy that you want to carry out, right? Yeah, but you don't know how, or don't know how to do it, and also you need insight on certain things. Yeah, that is the thing that I can provide. Yeah, so it depends on a case to case kind of thing. What are your needs? Then you can individually message me. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
Definitely. So
or
I
if
I
they
think
yeah.
that, sorry, you're saying?
Oh, sorry. No, one thing. If they would like to, they can also reach me on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. I will definitely link all those links in the description box below if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching from Spotify, I'm sure you'll be in the description as well. So I think generally, Joseph is really a very approachable person. So if you want to have any form of consultation for especially 八字, I definitely would recommend him. He's really friendly, he's very approachable. He'll definitely give you a very direct approach to things, and he'll definitely help you in whatever ways that he can help you with. So thank you so much, Joseph, for
You're welcome, Kok Hao.
just taking your time for come by for this episode of
Hey, thank you for the opportunity as well.
Podcast. Yes. So anyway, we come to the end of this episode of Lim Kopi podcast. Thank you so much, Joseph, and we will see you in the next episode. I'm not sure who I'm having next episode, but I think I have a confirmed guest. So let's hope for the best and stay safe during this COVID-19 situation. So don't anyhow go and do stupid things outside lah. Don't be a COVID lah. So and that has been it. Okay, but that has been it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.